Hello everyone, I'm Bets Golden. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm working on my design team project for Click Kits. It is from their best kit ever kit. It's a 12 by 12 scrapbook kit and it's so cute and fun. I have a nephew who is 5 and I thought that this would be a great time for me to make him a little card because I just saw him last month. So I'm going to make today a card that is both an envelope and the card with a fun fold on it. But you can actually use this also as a journaling block or a hidden picture. You just would not do to the back what I'm doing to it. And I'll tell you as we go along. So first thing you want to do for a 6x6 card, and of course you can scale this down accordingly, you just need squares, is you're going to cut your 12 by 12 sheet piece into 4 6x6 squares, just like I'm doing here. And then from there, you're actually going to make some circles. And I like to cut the squares down just so I know that I get my circles perfect. And you can use anything to create these circles. I use a circle cutter, but if you have like a small plate or a cup as a as something to trace, you can do that. Once you get your squares down, you're going to go ahead and fold each of them in half, making sure that you pay attention to the pattern that's on the inside. It's important that you fold these in half exactly and that you get a nice crease going like I have there. And that obviously is going to be a side piece because of the way the triangles are going. This one also is going to be another side piece. You could opt to just do a pattern paper that only has one pattern instead of a double pattern on each side. That would work as well. But I really like these little triangles and I thought that they were super cute. So for this one, I'm folding it up so the triangles will be faced up, and then that will be the bottom piece, and then the top piece will also be folded up. And you'll see how I go through and adhere this. I like to use glue when doing this next step. But if you're interested in this kit by Click Kits, check out my links in the description box down below, and I will give you a link so you can head over to the store and take a peek around. This would work with any of the kits, really. You just need a piece of pattern paper. But like I said, everything I'm using on this card is from that kit. And that's where you can find all the resources with the exception of like the ink and the paper cutter. All right, so what I like to do is I like to line it up, and I'm going to use that grid down there to make sure that I get my crease on the line. And then I line it up and I trace where it's going to go. But I have about 1/8 of an inch difference. I don't want it to be right up next to the other corner. I need there to be about 1/8 of an inch because I want it to be able to open smoothly. And if I do it butt to butt, so to speak, it won't open as smooth. So I leave about 1/8 of an inch, and then I just take a pencil and I trace it. If you are not going to put a piece of paper over the inside of this, which I recommend that you do, you will need to erase that pencil mark, but I am going to be putting a piece of paper on the inside of it, and you'll see what I mean, which will cover it up. So I don't really mind that there's going to be that lead right there. And then I'm just taking my glue and I'm going to adhere it. And you'll notice that as I do this process, I'm going to be checking my fold to make sure that it folds correctly, because not only is it a fun card, but it also is cool because if you fold it correct, it actually will stay folded and it won't open on its own, which is super neat. this last piece can get a little bit tricky because you need to have one flap go over, one flap go under, and you want to make sure that you line it up perfectly. And this will be your moment of truth. If it doesn't line up perfectly, then you know that one of your edges is crooked. But this actually lines up really well. And now I have to decide, okay, what is going to go over? What is going to go under? So I know that I need it to look like that at the end. And so when I open this up, I have to be a little bit careful on what I trace and what I glue. And I have to kind of think about it. It's a little bit of a brain exercise here. And it's funny because when I first saw this putting it together, I was like yelling at myself going, no, no, no. But when you're doing it, it can get a little bit confusing. So just be like patient with yourself. And if you happen to glue the wrong side, it's totally okay. It's glue. It'll be fine. You can let it dry and start again. And you are going to put a sheet of paper over this. So it's okay if you screw this up a little bit at this point. Don't give up entirely and throw the whole thing away. It is salvageable. And then I'm just going to go through and check. And as you can tell, I'm cleaning up that edge right there. I'm making sure that it's all perfect. And then I flip that in like there and boom. So now this is where you can either decide to put it directly into a scrapbook or art journal page and don't do anything to the back and just worry about decorating the inside. Or you can go all the way and create a card like I did. And I like to ink the edges. I am using my archival big jumbo ink pad in jet black. I love to do that. And then I'm also inking these little flaps. And I have to tell you, the hard part's over. Once you get this done, you are good to go, okay? There's nothing more difficult about this. That is the technique. That's how you do it. And then from here, I'm just going to show you how I decorated up his little card with the kit from Click Kits. But it's super cute. And I even put it in the mail when I'm done, and I'll show you what I use to adhere it. But it's a really little fun project. And you could do so much. You could even put pictures on those flaps if you wanted to. But I want to just create a card to go in the center of it. So I'm pulling out another piece of paper from my kit, from the Best Kid Ever kit. I think that's the name of it. And I'm cutting it down, and I measured, counting the little squares, and it's just shy of 6 by 6. So I end up with like 5 by 7/8 by 5 by 7/8. And I really want it to be sturdy. So there's going to be 3 layers between the front and the back of this card. I love that green, and that's going to be on the back where I put the address. And it's a little bit too big, so I go ahead and just trim a little bit off. And again, that's just barely under 6 inches right there, but I need it to fit pretty snug, and there it goes. It's perfect. And then from there, I'm just going to cut down my other pieces as well. Once I have all the edges inked, I'm going to go ahead and just lay out the backside of my card envelope where I'm going to put the address. And this is the one that I wanted pretty close to that measurement. The inked edges really do a nice job of camouflaging everything. One of the other reasons why I like to use liquid adhesive on this project is because it does allow me to maneuver it around a little bit in case I don't get it perfectly lined up when I lay it down on the back of my card. If you're going to just slap this into your scrapbook or art journal, you do not have to do this. This is just if you're going to turn it into a card or an envelope. It also allows for stability when it goes to the mail. Again, if you're doing this in your scrapbook or art journal, you don't have to do that because you won't need it because you got the stability of the page. And now from here, I used another sheet from the kit, and I'm going to use a matte. So I didn't want to just pop that green on there. I wanted to give a little bit of a frame. So I opted for this beautiful page that has, it's a navy with like some really pretty little stars on it. Looks really cute in the center. Of course, it is a kit, so naturally it's gonna match, which I love about kits. Don't you guys like that about kits? Is it takes all the guesswork. It takes like things that you maybe would have not have put together and puts it together, and it works so nicely. So I love using kits for that, and I really like the Click Kit one. This one's a great one. And then I'm going to just go ahead and add that green and build my page from there. Now my next step, you're going to see I have some little die cuts that are by Simon Hurley, part of the kit as well, and I ended up coloring those with my distress markers that I did off screen. I opted to do the distress markers instead of the Copics because I wasn't sure if the paper was Copic compatible, and I know that they work with the distress markers, but I have to tell you that if I could do it again, I probably would use my Copics just because I'm not that happy with my coloring job. These are some little cute die cuts that are also out of the Best Kid Ever kit. I thought that they were perfect to add that sentiment, and then of course the little dog and the little guy jumping in to the card. Literally, I love how he's hanging out right there. And then from there, I'm actually going to take and use some pop dots on the back of my little dude and dog, just because it gives it a little bit more interest. I just like the way that it looks. And don't worry, it totally will fold up just fine with those pop dots on. Now for everything else, I'm going to go ahead and just use liquid adhesive. I don't want it to be popped. I want those to be flat. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel and you're enjoying content like this, please make sure that you go ahead and do so, making sure that you hit that notification bell so you can be aware of every time I come out with a new video. If you enjoy this video, if you could give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Also, if you have not checked out the Click Kits, I'd like to invite you to do so. They have a really great Facebook group that has lots of fun challenges to get you crafting with a really nice community. So make sure you go over and check that out as well. I am going to go ahead and use some of these little embellishments that are from the kit, as well as that little sticker down there to finish off this card. I really love how this turned out. It's super cute. I think he's going to enjoy opening it, and everything just goes so well together. Now is the moment of truth. Let's fold this up and let's see how it works. So I just fold it up, and then this is the trickiest part, getting that flap in there. Since I am going to put it through the mail, I am going to add something on top to hold it, but I'm also going to use temporary adhesive to hold all of those edges down. And what that does is it allows it to stick long enough to get to my location, and then once it's opened, I can call them and say, hey, if you don't want it to stick anymore, you can just take an eraser and remove it. So that's what I ended up doing, was I had used some temporary adhesive just to get it to hold down. And then I'm adding this cute little star on the back with some adhesive. I think it'll be okay to go through the mail because I do get it put on there pretty well, and it just makes it extra special when my nephew opens it up. That's going to conclude this video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'm Betsy Golden. Happy crafting.